What are some interesting nsfw facts? Apparently, Egyptian pharaohs would masturbate in the Nile River to keep the land fertile. That's what I keep doing around my lawn, but the cops keep showing up. Backwards cowgirl is the #1 sex position responsible for breaking penises. Some flatworms engage in penis fencing to determine who will get pregnant. Loser get impaled with a detachable harpoon. Filled with semen. Makes for a thrilling high-stakes courtship. Gray whales reproduce almost exclusively through 3 ways of 2 males and 1 female. One male swims beneath the other 2 and keeps them buoyant, and when the other male is done, they swap places. Bonobos have been observed to engage in face-to-face coitus and use sex as forms of stress reduction and conflict resolution. When I took anthropology in college, we learned about social ingratiation of bonobos. The technical term is GG rubbing. The matriarchal female bonobos will scissor each other and rub clits to gain social clout. Napoleon Bonaparte might be buried in Paris, but his penis is in New Jersey. The journey of his penis began when the doctor who was responsible for his autopsy apparently decided to keep a souvenir for himself. They could choose any body part. Why they choose his penis? They do with it anyway. Kangaroos have 3 vaginas. The outside 2 are for sperm and lead to 2 uteruses. The middle one is for giving birth. Lesson of the day: do not search up kangaroos on Rule 34. Some penguins are so sex deprived they will penetrate the ground. To hell with this, I'm fucking the planet. Then, an ambitious penguin, probably pigs, can have orgasms that last 30 minutes. You can kill someone with a Brazil nut allergy by eating Brazil nuts and coming inside them. If you survive a bite from the Brazilian wandering spider, you will get painful erections for the rest of your life. But I don't have a penis. Your clitoris gets erected. The world's oldest dildo is a 20 centimeters phallus. That was discovered in Germany. It is dated back to 30,000 years. The first dildos were made of materials like stone, tar, and wood. Echidnas and platypuses are the only 2 mammals that lay eggs and produce milk. They are therefore the only 2 animals that can make their own custard. There's more blood in an erect penis than there is in a rabbit. If you get someone to lightly stroke/poke your inner thigh, your testicles will ascend due to the cremasteric reflex. A cockroach has some interesting physiology. It can survive for up to 6 days without its head, and would die of starvation. At the back end, they have 2 tiny antennae called cerci. They sense vibration. When they do, a signal will bypass the cockroach's brain, and it will run before it knows why it's running. When dogs copulate, the male penis becomes engorged, creating something called the copulatory tie. It lasts for 15 to 30 minutes, ensures the semen stays within the female, increasing chances of conception. When a pregnant woman dies and is buried, there is a such thing as coffin birth, where the gases from the decomposing body will force the fetus out of the uterus and through the birth canal, making it look like a birth had happened. I don't think this is common anymore in the first world, as we now prepare bodies with embalming fluid, and also I believe if you are far enough along in a pregnancy they will remove the fetus and either bury it in its own casket or in the arms of the mother. You shit yourself when you die because your muscles relax, allowing all the waste to move to the anus. You probably know many animals have a baculum, penis bone, but did you know there's a clit bone too? In ancient Egypt, when a beautiful woman died, they would let her corpse rot for 3 days in the sun before sending the body to the embalmer. This was to discourage necrophilia. Sea otters hold hand when they sleep on the wat. They don't drift apart. They will also rape baby seals to death and continue until the body loses heat hour later. Also, the males will sometimes steal babies from the mother and hold them hostage and attempt to drown them in exchange for food. Echidnas have 4 holes on their dicks from where they can squirt cum. Also, cats have spikes on their dicks to harpoon the female vagina, so she can't escape during the act as it hurts too much. The tissue on the inside of your mouth is the same as the tissue on a vagina. Nobody read this and didn't move their tongue around their mouths to see what it felt like. Wombats twerk predators to death by luring them to poke their heads into their burrow, then wedging their wombat bottoms underneath the predator's head and essentially twerking until the predator's skull cracks open. I forget all the details, but ducks have sort of miraculous reproductive organs, including the spiral duck dick that kinda has a broom-style tip to help scoop out other semen already in the female duck. Dogs have a penis bone, as well as some other animals, and it's called os penis. Evan Bayers is a man who drank so much radioactive water that his jaw literally fell off. There are actual photos of the guy with the missing bottom jaw. His body is buried in a lead coffin because he is still radioactive. There's a 1 in 3 chance police will never identify your killer if you're murdered in the US. This is heavily influenced by who kills you. If it's someone you know, the odds are decent they'll solve it. If it's a stranger, solving it becomes very unlikely. There was a ranch in Washington state where guys would go and get fucked by horses, many of them meeting up to do so after discussing it in an online chat room. One of these guys was Mr. Hands, the man who actually got his insides destroyed when he was being breeded by, well, a breeding horse in the infamous shock video. When you jump off a building and hit the ground, you don't really splat, you do more of a bounce. For every 20 pounds, 10-ish kilos, of weight a man loses, he regains half an inch of dick length that had been buried in the pubic fat.